Mental health. It's what everybody is talking about these days. You'll find a plethora of articles stating how to take care of your mental health, how to improve your mental health, how to recognize mental illness. What is depression, and do I have it? What is anxiety? And what is just nerves? Why are our youth more depressed and stressed than ever? The list could go on and on. There's so much content out there which has raised an awareness that the previous generations have never seen before this. There was a stigma with mental health. If you had to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, a counselor, well, that was probably because you're crazy. Which, now today, we've learned is not the truth. So with that being said, all this awareness isn't a bad thing at all. This topic of mental health is one that hits home for me, and I wanted to research a natural way to combat poor mental health. This is because, as a teenager, I was diagnosed as depressed and anxious and placed on prescription medication at the age of 15. It wasn't something that I ever liked talking about, and I never liked taking it. And after a while, I chose to forego the medication and try to just live my life. Things continued for me, and as a young wife and mother, I suffered bouts of depression and suicidal thoughts. And in my late 20s, I was told by a counselor that I had a mood disorder. After that diagnosis and deciding that I needed to do something different, I simultaneously began doing at-home workouts on a regular. There were still bad days, but overall, I felt good. I began to get out of the house and host workout classes in my local community, and found a passion for movement that gave me confidence in myself and my body. I stepped outside of the depressed bubble I was in and began to make friends, and I even started my journey in church ministry that season. So, with this project, I thought to myself, what is the science between mental health and exercise? First, I turned to the Great Bethel Library and asked it, what does exercise do for mental health? And the results were amazing. I wasn't sure what I would find, but lo and behold, there was article after article, book after book, and video after video, all sharing their findings on what movement does for the brain. So I'm going to share a little bit with you on what these findings are. The first article I looked up shared many reasons to move. They found more than just helping anxiety and depression, but movement helped to delay the onset of diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Alzheimer's is a neurodegenerative disease which entails loss in the hippocampus region of the brain and cognitive deterioration. Exercise can be used as a preventative measure and is highly encouraged by doctors. There are many studies that report the relationship between physical activity and reduced instances of dementia and cognitive deterioration. Exercise as a non-pharmacological approach as treatment to patients already diagnosed with Alzheimer's was also studied, and they found positive benefits: reduced hospitalizations, decreased depressive symptoms, and improved quality of life. With Parkinson's disease, I don't know if you know what it is, but it's expressed in tremors, rigidity of the body, as well as posture and balance changes. Studies were done and found that exercise might help by protecting against diseases, and suggested that exercise is related to the prevention of Parkinson's. In one of the studies done, they found that physical activity in Parkinson's patients improved their quality of life. It improved their walking skills and even reduced their neurological symptoms, giving these patients more independence and better quality of life. In the research of this article, they found that exercise increases things in the brains related to better cognitive function, which is why exercise could be helpful in preventing cognitive decline. There still needs to be more research done, though, to definitively say that it helps the onset of these diseases. In another study, I researched that they talked about how the intensity of exercise matters when it comes to its effect on mental health. They stated that 10 minutes of mild exercise increased activity in the hippocampal subregions of the brain. This supports other findings saying that there is benefits from exercise for cognitive benefits. They also said that the higher intensity workouts are recommended to promote more beneficial effects on neurocognitive functions. So it seems that the longer and more intense the workouts are, the more benefits the brain sees, though any movement is better than no movement at all. But like I said in the beginning, we're beginning to see the trend of mental health awareness in a lot of the younger generations. So I also looked into a study done on how exercise affects college-age students. Since so many of them are stressed and depressed, and mental health of this age group has been on the decline as of late. They noted that sports and movement can help people to adjust and regulate their emotions and their behavior, as well as strengthen their bodies. They also believe that education of physical and mental is very important. When we know better, we can do better to care for ourselves. It's like putting tools in a toolbox with a manual on how to build something. All parts are needed to successfully learn to do better. So with all this being said, knowing that exercise is important to improve brain function and memory, to deter mental diseases and improve the overall well-being of individuals, my next question was, how do we do it well? I went to Dr. Caroline Leaf, one of my favorite neuroscientists, who loves to talk with other doctors and scientists and break down in easy terms how to love our brains and bodies well. She encourages us to have a positive outlook on exercise, not just a task to check off of a list. And the benefits are so worth it, and it can be fun and even an enjoyable experience if we let it. There is no right or wrong way to move our bodies, and all movement is good movement. We just need to find what works for us. She suggests even bringing movement into our everyday lives, like skipping around our house, dancing in the kitchen, or chasing after little ones on our hands and knees from room to room. Dr. Leaf states that the data shows that people who are more physically active are happier, have more meaningful lives, have better relationships, experience more positive emotions, and deal with depression and anxiety better. She also shares that when we integrate movement into our daily lives, that it makes the brain more sensitive to pleasure and joy because physical activity enhances the reward system in our brains. How cool is that? So, with all this research and all the articles I looked at, it is clear to see that exercise, movement of the body, helps our brains. It can protect us from disease and decreases depression and anxiety. When you move your body, it not only changes the body, but it changes your mind and causes you to be a happy, more joy-filled person. I know firsthand, as I have experienced those changes when I began my fitness journey, and I can tell you, it's worth it. Thank you.